or the one who doesn't believe in the divine origin of the Torah, things like that. Those are the ones who lose their place in the world to come. It doesn't, so orthodoxy, the right belief, certainly it would seem to me in the eyes of the sages would come before orthopraxy, before our religious practices. It seems from the Bible, though, that being a good person even comes before that. Meaning someone has a proper doctrine, but doesn't treat other people properly, is even worse than that, But not to say that one shouldn't have the right doctrine. You have to have both. Anyway, that's a key to what's the cure for a lot of the problems we have in Judaism. How do we do that? How do we bring God into our lives? So a lot of the teachers throughout the ages, a lot of people mention Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, but he wasn't the only one. Rabbi Tzadok from Lublin, and even outside the Hasidic world, the Brisker Rav, and all the different tzaddikim, they said that the big thing is the Chazon Ish and the Chofetz Chaim. A lot of people they taught that you have to talk to God. Talk to Him in your own language. In addition, Rav Victor Miller spoke about this too. In addition to davening, in addition to saying our liturgy, we have to have a relationship that's based on talking, based on the divine conversation. Doesn't mean you're going to hear God back, and don't expect it. And if you do, question it, because it might. Everything's from God, but it might be a test. But if you want the answers, it's all written in the Torah. And if you hear something that's against the Torah, you can know that that's not what it's supposed to be. But anyway, it's not going to be prophecy anyway, because we're after the time of prophecy, but people hear things. I haven't, but some people have. But what we have to do is also, we see things in our life. And we hear things from just life, because God controls the world. And so that's how you can find the answers back, as long as it goes together with the Torah. Everything's just a reminder to get us back to the Torah, because everything we need is already revealed. Torah lo b'shemaim. The Torah is not in heaven anymore. It was given to us and we have it. But that's the key. Talk to God. Study His Word. Pay attention. Be attentive. Be observant. Not just observant of the mitzvahs, but observe what goes on in the world. And that's how you can have that relationship. And then you can go not just from being observant, but to be actually religious, to actually have a relationship with, not just religious, but to have a real relationship with God. That's a major key to what we need to do. And hopefully, through that, then will be fulfilled what it says in the Bible. The whole world will be covered with the knowledge of God. And we know knowledge is a term in the Bible of a relationship, a connection to God, like Adam knew Eve, right? That kind of relationship, like in Song of Songs, the world will be filled with that type of knowledge, with that type of relationship, with that type of loving, caring, romantic relationship with God, like the waters cover the seas. And water is a source of purity that'll purify us too. So we shall be worthy to that, and through that, we'll be turned around. People have questions, there are a lot of answers, but the motion has to come first, because it's hard to get into a broken heart. The Kotzker Rebbe, when he was a little kid, they asked him, "Where is God?" And he said, "Wherever the heart of man lets Him in." So if you open your heart, let God in, God will be with you. But you have to develop that relationship. And all the religious stuff is good, and you need to do it. You can't say not to do it. It doesn't get in the way, God forbid, just the opposite. when you talk to God, and when you pray, and you think, and you meditate, all of these things have more meaning. And then you're going to look for more things to do, People asking, why these days, it's not enough we have a Passover and a Shavuos and a Sukkot, what do we need? A Lag Baimer and this and that, It's coming up next week, Lag Baimer and Pesach Sheni and this and that. Because then we have these opportunities, because we're looking for more. All the things we have, we don't see them as 613 obstacles, the commandments. We see them as 613 opportunities, and it's not enough. We want more and more. And we should be worthy, because we have an infinite God, and we can have an infinite relationship with Him. And He is real, and He did reveal the Torah, and He does expect things from us. But people are not perfect. Don't be disappointed when people let you down. You got to have the relationship with God. That's what's important, and that's what will keep people Jewish. Trying to preserve the Jewish people, that's not our job, As far as actually doing it, we see in the Bible, in the book of Esther, Mordechai tells Esther, don't worry, says that the salvation will come to the Jews from another place. The Jewish people will never be destroyed. Don't worry. We don't need to make a state of Israel. We don't need to make this or that. God is going to protect us. And if sometimes things happen, it's not in our control. But the question is, Atuves Avich Tavodu, you and your father's house are going to be destroyed. Are you going to be, which side are you on? Are you going to be from those who are helping to maintain Judaism or not? And the key to that is through Judaism and through making that relationship with God and being the light unto the nations, bringing God to the world, showing God's presence in the world. That's what we need to do. And who's it for? It's not for God. God doesn't need us. It's for us. He showed us the best way to live in the Torah. And it doesn't hurt God when we do something wrong, except to the point, the same way that it hurts a parent when they see their child is hurt. The parent's not hurt. The parent didn't cut his hand or whatever, But it hurts the parent to know his child is hurt. And so a parent tells the child how not to get hurt. That's what the Torah is about. What does it do to God? It's not about what it does. It's about what it does to us. And what happens to us affects God, because He loves us so much. And so that's why He gave us the way. That's why He gave us the path, because of how much He loves us. He gave us a standard to live to. He gave us the instructions how not to get hurt, how to live the best life. And He wants what's best for us, because He loves us so much. And that's the path. That's what the Torah is all about. It's all about how much God loves us, how much He cares about us. And so if anyone asks, well, what difference does it make to God if I eat something not kosher, if I do this and that? What does it do to God? God can't be hurt. It hurts Him just like a parent gets hurt when they see their child doing something wrong, doing something that hurts them. Not just it's wrong, but it hurts them. It hurts their, and so God knows about not only our bodies, but our souls. And He knows, He told us what's good and what's not. And it gives Him pride when He sees we're doing the right thing, because He loves us so much. And so if we remember these things, like we have 6 constant mitzvahs that we have to do all the time. There was a Jew in the time of the Holocaust, and he always go around singing ay ay ay. They asked him, what's this ay ay ay? It's getting annoying already. What's this ay ay ay? He's singing a tune, but it's also beautiful. He said, the Nazis, they took away everything from us. We can't put on tefillin, we can't keep kosher, we can't keep Shabbos, we can't do this and that. They're going to kill us if we try to. But there's 6 things He can't take away from us. Ahava yira, loving God and fearing God. Ahava is at an aleph, years with a yud, it's I. A-Y, right? I. Belief God exists. Amuna, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, also starts with aleph. You should have no other gods before me. Also the Yud, Aleph Yud, A-Y, I. Right? And so no, God exists, and God is one, and don't go after your heart and after your eyes. Echad, Aleph, another I, and then there's a Yud in these different words. Again, I. I'm going to remember to love God, to fear Him, to know He exists, not to have any other gods, and to know God is one, and not to go after our heart and after our eyes. Those are the 6 constant commandments. Those are I. And now we have the tefillin, we have the kashrus, we can do all these things. We don't have a Nazi holding a gun to our heads making sure we don't do it. Let's make the most of these things and bring that I, that love, that awe, that knowledge of existence, that denial of anything wrong, that recognition that God is one in everything, and to be careful what we think about and not to think of heresy. We can take that in with us, with our tefillin, with our mitzvahs, with our lulav and esrog and our matzah and all the mitzvahs in our Chanukah lech. And then, like I said before, that's where the relationship comes in. That's where the world will be covered with the knowledge of the Lord. And even if the whole world's not covered, at least we'll be covered. And even if it's not perfect, let's get started. If we do it a little bit now, like Rabbi Victor Miller said, when you're alone by yourself, say, I love you, God. When the subway passes by and makes a loud noise and you can scream and no one else will hear you, shout, I love you, God. He said, maybe you won't love God like King David did, but it'll get into your heart. It's in your mouth and your heart to do it, like it says in Deuteronomy. And so we shall be able, it's really not up to us, it's really from God's grace that we're able to do it. But let's pray and hope that our hearts are open to let Him in. And then we'll have that relationship. All right, God bless. Thank you.